AM 560, 96.1 FM, and 87.7 FM. This hour of Sports 56 Happy Hour is brought to you by MemphisFarmers.com. Insurance coverage backed by a local agent and a brand trusted nationwide. We are farmers. MemphisFarmers.com.
Check it out right here.
Ladies and gentlemen. And now,
the 3-time sexiest man in Millington, Johnny Harden.
Good Monday to everybody out there. You know I love you, and yes, it's so hard being this sexy on this Monday because it was a rough weekend, but I'm damn sexy. I can't help that. But we honestly are going to try to give you a 2-hour reprieve. We will talk about the things that are going on. I just can't start with sports. I'm going to be honest with you. There's just no way in hell I can sit here after all the stuff that happened this weekend and what went on basically last week and not talk basically about some of the things that I have found fascinating, interesting, not important, but extremely important, earth-shattering, in my personal opinion, and hopefully change that will honestly come, that we never have to look back at something like this again, and there's a person who actually can put somebody's knee on a person's neck and execute them in just broad daylight, and then we have a nightmare of riots and just what happened this weekend. I don't care what anybody says. Y'all, what was it, Wednesday or Thursday? I kind of broke down a little bit.
Yep.
I saw Booger McFarland. He broke down this morning on Get Up. I mean, it was broke down. You know what I mean? And again, Gabe, I don't know if he understood it, but the guilt that I felt for being the adult and allowing my grandchildren and children and Gabe's generation and any generation, and somehow that I actually had this crazy belief that we actually were better, it just made me feel like such a failure. But over the weekend, I've learned so much, and Angeles Times. I don't know if you got a chance to read that bad boy, Gabe. It was just perfectly said, almost like Killer Mike, but on a different level. He used the pen and the word, and he came from an elderly, different place, and it was eloquently said, but it was powerful. Killer Mike came on TV with tears running down his eyes, with the mayor and the chief of police behind him, cussing like a sailor, but being like talking about how his family who are police and how Atlanta is this and mobilize, don't burn down the place, strategize, get everything together and just, and actually come up with a response. And the way he said things like, if you don't like that prosecutor, vote they butt out. If you don't like some dude who's not progressive and doesn't think weed should be legal, vote his butt out. There were so many things I can honestly look out and say over this weekend that I'm not going to lie to you, I wept. But I also did find so many moments to where I could say, damn, I'm still hella proud to be an American, if you know what I mean. Hella proud.
Now, you said you don't want to open up on sport, or you're not going to open up on
just
sports,
can't
but you
open
got to
it on
understand this crosses the platform.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the sports stories from the weekend have to do with this.
That's exactly. Well, it is well, you know what? Excellent. You said it well, because I'm using sports figures, and I'm going to talk about J.R. Smith, and talking about the Vandal. And you know what? In all honesty, I don't even think we're going to get to the leadoff probably till 1:30. By the way, I'm going to talk Ole Miss football, and I'm going to talk Mike Leach and a lot of really important stuff, and I'm really going to give you a reprieve at 2 o'clock. I promise you this. From 2 o'clock, we got John Luke McCord. We're going to do Hardwood. We're going to have a whole lot of fun. But again, in the very beginning, I have to, as a human being, I feel like, just tell you the things that are going on. And again, when I read Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's piece in the Los Angeles Times, and I implore you to go and read this because the pen is still damn powerful. And what he wrote, and if you read it, and again, I like how he even starts it off. If you're white, you probably muttered a horrified, "Oh my God," while shaking your head at a cruel injustice. If you're black, you probably leapt your feet, cursed, maybe threw something. Lots of expletives that they were. I'm impressed they put it in the Los Angeles Times. And then you remember the two white vigilantes accused of murdering Ahmaud Arbery as he jogged through their neighborhood in February, and how if it wasn't for the video emerging a few weeks ago, they would have gotten away with it. And basically what we're trying to say is the pen is powerful, but the video, the coronavirus, all these people who are sitting at home and now actually seeing that basically in the daylight, you can choke on sawdust at night, but you can't see it. But in the daylight, damn it, you see it. And it's kind of like what video has done. You can see the sawdust. You can see the problem that is in there choking and killing our black brothers, our people of color. It is also shown what, in my personal opinion, and I want to thank so many people who sent me the history of policing, and that's something that I think has to change. We have to go back to being, serve the public. It's not about making money, giving tickets, putting people in arrest, doing raids. You know what, though? If you become a part of the Little League community, if you go into the neighborhoods and you try to help the people, if you don't push old people down, I'm a white man. I even tweeted this out. I'm not scared of a damn thing in this world. I live downtown Memphis. I ain't never had a problem in my life. Never have had a problem in my life. I've maybe gotten in a fight here or there, but never had a life-threatening problem. Only time I was scared for my life was when there was some shooting going downtown, and guess who was doing the shooting? It was a bunch of police officers. So again, what I'm trying to say is I don't think that they are all bad by any means, just like Killer Mike was telling you, but I am telling you, policing in this country, the way we treat human beings, the first police force was created in Boston to do what? To return slaves. Not for any other reason. Just to make sure you return slaves. Then the second one was, created. Again, policing in this country is not as old as people think. And you had a bunch of Irish people in New York. I read the whole situation. But what I'm saying to you is policing in this country has turned into a money situation. And when money gets involved, as we've seen in college football and college sports and the NCAA, money causes problems. Money has been one of the biggest problems. If you're not part of the 1%, look at Jeffrey Epstein and how a pedophile was treated compared to George Floyd. I don't have to tell all you people this thing. I don't have to make it, I don't have to make it hard for you. There's too many people out there who have basically got it. They get it. They understand it. And I think because of the coronavirus, I think because of the fact you had so many people at home watching this, I think that the outrage has finally gotten to a point where people are saying to themselves, damn it, I can't handle this anymore. Like, I literally cannot handle the way people are being treated. And I implore you, Alex Kuhn, Gabe's brother, tweeted it out. Killer Mike, I retweeted it. Watch it. Listen to what he's saying. You can ask. And by the way, also do me a favor. Have you gone, by the way, Gabe? I wanted to ask you this question. Did you go and see the was it J.R. Smith? Who was it that went out there and you got these vandals and he takes all their spray paint? Did you see it?
I did not. J.R. Smith beat the tar out
No.
of
That
one
was
of the
he was in
protesters.
L.A. That was
that
that's
was different.
right.
I did not see
Who was it that
anything
did the
with
other
spray
one?
paint.
Okay, so the person with spray paint. I got to get my people right because again, it has completely got into. John Jones. John Jones, a dude that you would think to yourself is, he's a light heavyweight, loves smoking weed, gotten arrested for a million things. He even tweeted out that this ain't about George Floyd anymore. I just went out there. He took 8 cans of spray paint from like 4 white dudes dressed in all black, spray painting like F the cops on this stuff and spray painting his car. John Jones just took, and by the way, you know what they did? They reluctantly gave it to him. But when John Jones said, "Give me your damn spray paint, son," they gave it to him.
John Jones is not a guy I'd want to cross in a situation like
I
that.
sure as bleep wouldn't want to. And again, I am not trying to. I feel obligated because this weekend is like no other. We will do some winners and losers, some studs and duds. We'll do the lead. But I do want to say this before I get basically going into this show. And I think every one of y'all know me pretty well. Y'all know that this stuff bothers me. Again, you saw how outraged I was. I told you about the pen, which I used to think was mightier than the sword. I think now it's our camera. I think the iPhone, the Android, whatever the hell you want to call it, digital media, I think this has opened up a sad wound that's been hidden. And I think people basically now realize that, you know, in the digital age, you now see what is going on. And since George Floyd was killed, and the phrase of die in police custody, I just want to ask you this truth. Do you think, oh, that person died in police custody, and it's happened 493 times in 4 years? Looked it up. 493 times people have died in police custody. After seeing this, what does dying in police custody actually mean to you now? Do you know what I mean by that? Like it changes the term. Like if you read it in the paper, this person died in the police custody last night. Oh, you know, and then you go back to the next story. Now after seeing George Floyd, that's all it would have said. George Floyd died in police custody if it wasn't on video. Ahmaud Arbery, almost 70 days before they arrested them. And it took video for these men to get arrested. Video has become the new truth. The cops in New York running over those people. The officer in Utah who pushed those 2 old men who weren't even part of a protest who were walking. Did you see that?
There are things that I saw this weekend.
I cried.
That
I wept.
We haven't seen to that extent since the civil rights movement of the 60s. Like, we have not seen it to that extent.
But the thing
there's
is,
cars
it's been
running
there.
over people in the streets.
Running over them in the street. And by the way, you know what? Was it Charlotte? The media shunned it. Of course, then they said it was, some good people down there too. But anyway, but now you got cops in New York just running over people in Brooklyn. And I want to say this, and this is something I hope you all listen to me. I am not for violence. I am not for one thing when you have 41 million Americans who are struggling and are on unemployment. I'm definitely not for the destruction of businesses. Do you know how hard it is for those people? I watched that young man who put his whole life's work and he lost his entire business. I am not for that, but I also don't believe that the people who actually give a damn about George Floyd, and I watch many a peaceful protest, I don't think those are the people who are out there in the streets. And you know what? And this is the sad part. But for every great heart that there is, and there's a lot more good, it only takes one a-hole to F everything up if you haven't learned.
I am one where, God, no, I don't want riots. God, no, I don't want destruction. I hate destruction of property. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I have to get that all across. But at the same time, I don't want it to distract from the issue here. Why are they doing this? Why is this happening? Why are black people being gunned down in the streets for no reason? Like, why is that happening? And I think that's what needs to be focused on.
Could you imagine?
Because the riots and the protests are not going to continue to happen for 100 years straight. That's not how that works. But the oppression, what it happens to black people in this country will continue to happen.
Got to pull this up to make sure. Hold on. This is going to blow your mind, and you're 100% right. I'm about to pull it up to make sure I'm right, and I'm going to look it up. But I've heard the top 10 reasons that young black males die from 16 to 35. and I believe they said on CNN it was number 6. They died at the hands of the officer. That is insanity. Like, I mean, we don't have that. I mean, I understand it's the 13% of the population, yada yada, but it's way too much. And again, that's insanity. But I do want to say this, and I want every person, whether you hate me right now, I don't know why, listen to what I'm saying. There is not two sides in this. There is not. And this is the one thing I want to implore to everybody. This is not a black and white thing. And I know it feels so damn racial, but racial inequality helped build this. But now it's turned into a right and wrong thing. And if you can watch the video of George being killed and you can't see that that's wrong, I can't help you. There is something that is wrong with you. I can't watch that video. I literally cry watching it. I made a mistake of watching it while I was talking on the radio, and before I could get to break, I was in tears. I watched Booger McFarland. I think it was Booger that today break up.
Yep, it's Booger.
It is hard again to just watch somebody beg for their mother, and their mother, by the way, when you find out their mother's already dead, that means he knew he was going to see her, and you just got a cop with his hand in his pocket, looking like an a-hole and nobody helping this man. That hurts. When you see the Arbery, that hurts. But then also when you wake up on Sunday and you see this poor kid who's 35 years old and he put his life's work into a bar and now it's destroyed because people decided to burn it down. That's not for George, and that's not right. We have to, and I'm serious as a heart attack, we have to use this moment in time to not just, and I understand that protests and riots are, according especially to Dr. King, they're the voice of the people who have been oppressed, the unheard. But we right now have had people, like if you listen to the mayor in Atlanta, did you listen to the mayor in Atlanta this week?
I did.
She came out, and you know what she said, by the way? I have to give Keisha Lance Bottoms tons of respect. She said, what I'm seeing on the streets of Atlanta is not Atlanta. This isn't a protest. This isn't in the spirit of Martin Luther King Jr. This is, and she used a very choice word, chaos. And I have to respect her. And then Chief David Roddy's out there telling that he wants to walk with the protesters as a parade for George Floyd's life. And he wants to celebrate and make sure this never happens. They want to open up a review board, which Killer Mike, great to bring that back. But again, everybody should have a review board, especially like he said, so some dumb idiot doesn't do this and the streets go ablaze. You can't have somebody with 18 demerits who, by the way, most cops never use their gun. He's used it now 3 times. 3 times he's used a gun. He has 18 demerits, and he just kneed himself on the dude's neck. I know you know that his wife has left him. Have you heard about this?
I have not.
This is to show you, even on a family level, how they realize how bad it was. His wife has left him and said she doesn't want any money. She doesn't want any support from him as a spouse. The only thing she wants is what she brought in the relationship, which was the house in Florida, and she wants her last name back because she never wants to be around that man or be associated with that man and his last name. I mean, she finds him to be the most disgusting person in the world. Not even his family is supporting him. You know what I mean? Again, and I'm using this, and I'm going to get to sports. I promise you. But I don't feel like I could be a human being if I actually just walked in here and was like, hey, did you hear about baseball? Did you hear about this? And actually pretended that what happened this weekend wasn't real. And again, I want to say this very, very undeniably. I hope you understand this. This is not anymore. And if you look around and if you look at the people supporting you, this is not a black and white thing anymore. This is a power versus people without power. We have to change the way we police people in this country. It can't be about, hey, getting money. Can't be about pulling homie over for weed. A police officer should be there to protect and serve. If you got some crazy lunatic who's going crazy, call the police. People should not be scared to call the police. If there's abuse going on in the house, call the police. Kids shouldn't be scared to call the police. I watched a little kid who videotaped his mother this weekend, and he's crying because he's so scared of the police. The police need to get back, and this country needs to get back to understand that if you love and care for a community, if you open up ball fields, and that's where I think the reason this has gotten so big in this country, we don't have sports right now. But it's woken up a lot of eyes, and you got 41 million Americans who are sitting at home that usually be at work. But now they're getting to think and see for themselves. And again, it's not just the pen. These video clips mean so much. Michael Jordan even came out and spoke on this one. You know it's bad when MJ releases what he did. And it was a really well thought out. I was impressed with Michael Jordan. And this is a guy who people killed for never even speaking out. But that's how bad it is.
And the only way this fixes is by opening up lines of communication, by speaking out on it, whether white, black, brown, it doesn't matter. Speak out on what injustices you face. And I think things like what the NBA Coaches Association did today. NBA Coaches Association established a committee on racial injustice and reform.
NBA did the same thing. Did you see what the NBA did? You were on air, so I bet you didn't see this.
But like Greg Popovich, Steve Kerr, Lloyd Pierce, David Fizdale, Stan Van Gundy are all on this committee for racial injustice and reform. Yep. This is how we move forward. It's not burning things down. It's not doing things like that. Peaceful protests, absolutely.
Now, two things, though, to say, because you brought up something that I wanted to make sure I mentioned. The NBA has opened up a forum to where they are going to help their city's policing be friendlier with the community.
And that's
And
what
by
helps.
the way, and people say, well, what about the drug dealers or all the gangs in the community? Well, you know what? If there's an open line of communication with your officers and they're people that are friendly, then you'll actually know what's going on in the neighborhood. It'll be something normal. You interact with the kids. Imagine if you coached the kids in baseball. You'd know their families. You know what I mean? When you pulled them over, it wouldn't be like pulling over, give me your license, be like, hey, George, hey, Gabe. And again, that's called community, and that's what we have to get back to, because when I was a kid, I got pulled over, and I knew the people who pulled me over. Do you know what I mean? And now we've gotten to a point where it's just we treat people like trash. It's always a number, but the NFL and the NBA have done a good thing. And I want to say the NFL players also assisted with cleaning up in Tampa. Did you see this? You had Alden Tate, you had Ray McLeod, you had Isaiah Rodgers, you had multiple. Let's be honest, you had Colts, Bills, Bengals, you had Tampa Bay Bucks. I said Rays. Who are the Rays? Oh, baseball. You had the Bucks. You had people down there who were helping and cleaning up. But again, the NFL, DeMaurice Smith came out and said, guess what? The NFL is putting together, just like the NBA, an executive board of directors. And you know what their job is going to be? They've said, we are going to help open up a line of communication between our police officers and our community. Wow. Doesn't that sound like a smart idea?
Sure does.
Man, I got to give a big hand to that. And again, it's all about being right. It's not about being wrong. Do the right thing. Don't screw up. And remember this, with all that we've seen, I got to give big props before I go to anything, and I got to say thank you. My man, he tweeted it out, and y'all know him. He played a lot of basketball back in the day here at the University of Memphis, but he tweeted out that, man, it was so nice. What was it? Stop telling people how to feel. Don't tell me everyone's circumstances are the same. Everyone's circumstances are different, and everyone's feelings are different. Thank you very much. VLJH at VLJH on Twitter. I'm sure you can figure it out. He can jump out the gym, by the way. Now, a lot of people have said a lot of great things and done a lot of great things, but we are going to move on. If you want to hit me up at 67129, if you want to consider continue hitting me with the conversation, go right ahead. We're going to move into the leadoff on the next segment with Gabe Kuhn. We are going to get into sports, but I do want to remind everybody again that as mighty as the pen has been, I don't think there's anything as strong right now as basically video. And with all these people at this time, I can't say that unequivocally 100% we're going to be different going forward. But I truly believe that going forward, things will change. And hopefully we'll understand that force is not the answer. Love is the answer. And again, this isn't a black and white thing. This is a right and wrong thing. And there is right, there is wrong. Stand on the side that's righteous. I'll see you on the flip side. Don't you dare touch that dial. Sports 56, 96.1, 87.7 FM.
Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and CJ Hurts. Weekdays from 7 to 10. Only on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 FM.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test driven, checked out from head to toe. Unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
Hi, I'm Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. Can anyone explain to me why anyone would care how I measure your roof? We have all heard about measuring your roof from outer space. Well, to be honest, there are aerial pictures that are taken every 4 years that can be used to measure a building, but it's not from outer space. Besides, no one, and I mean no one, can tell you what's wrong with your roof or even if you need one by using pictures that might be 4 years old. If you would rather do business with a family-owned and operated business with a lifelong tie to Memphis that refuses to mislead or use gimmicks, please give me a call. Best products, best warranties, and the best customer service we know how to provide. Fiveash Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you. Napa know-how.
Get all the quality parts you need at your locally owned Napa. Because right now, when you order from Napa online, you can pick up curbside at your local store in just 30 minutes. Or get your order delivered direct to your door with free one-day shipping on over 160,000 quality parts when you spend $50 or more. Quality parts delivered quickly and safely. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating stores, standard ground shipping and exclusions apply.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM, 96.1 FM, and 87.7 FM. As well as online around the world at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere on your phone or tablet by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, tell Google or Alexa to play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned to real sports talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Welcome back to Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. This hour is brought to you by MemphisFarmers.com. Insurance coverage backed by a local agent and a brand trusted nationwide. We are farmers. MemphisFarmers.com.
Well, show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. Show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. For if we
Welcome back to Sports 56 Happy Hour. And I got to say one thing, and this is very important. For somebody to text me very disappointed with all the political talk on Sports 56 today, If I want to hear that, I'd be listening to News Talk. What happened to George Floyd was terrible and wrong. But what about the police officers killed during riots? Yeah, that's horrible. Dude, I not feel bad what happened in Dallas. But can I ask you, what happened first? Have you ever heard of cause and effect? And again, this shouldn't have happened. You know why it shouldn't have happened? Because people are supposed to be whole. Human beings with a heart and empathy and sympathy would have never let this happen. And if somebody didn't put their neck on George's throat and kill him, I'm sorry, sir, that you can hate me. And all you people who say, F you, stick to sports, go right ahead. Hate me. I've already lost enough friends over this. Right is right. Wrong is wrong. Is it wrong to destroy your own home? Is it wrong to destroy buildings? Damn right it is. But you know what? It is so much wronger to kill 493 unarmed black men and people not pay any prices. So, again, if you want this to continue, then just let things go to the status quo. If you want to wake up and realize, imagine your daughter or your child being under that officer's neck. It's that damn simple. Imagine your boyfriend. Imagine your girlfriend. Imagine your mother or your father. Stop pretending. Imagine your kid being Ahmaud Arbery. Stop it. Things are bad, and if you want to pretend that they aren't, you go ahead and, again, you must be part of the 1%, so you are protected by your own high hedges like Jeffrey Epstein, who's a pedophile and gets treated better than a guy who gave a $20 fake bill, which was probably given to him by his work, you morons. Again, like I said, I didn't get killed when I went to Kroger and tried to pay with a $100 fake bill, which I thought was real. Didn't get killed. In fact, I was like, oh, damn, is it fake for real? And, like, had to keep hitting with the pen. It's like, damn, now I got to use my credit card.
Again, it's deeper than police brutality even. It's about just racial relations in this country.
It's just people not being fair. And, again, it's not black and white, people. It's right and wrong. And if you can't look at what that cop did and say that that's damn wrong, then there's something wrong with you. And then if you also can't look at people destroying the hard work to build up their business and all the work that they did to create this and the hard work. The kid in Philadelphia made me cry yesterday. I ain't gonna lie to you. I mean, he was in tears. He had me in tears. He put his whole life into his bar, and it was destroyed. I don't want anything destroyed. I want people to start living in harmony. I want people, when they get pulled over by the police, instead of being scared to death, say, hey, officer, how are you doing? And I also want the officers, and this is another issue with this country, officers shouldn't have to walk to the cars and be scared to death that somebody's going to shoot them either. We got a big problem on both sides, and if we want to ignore it like the texters, go right ahead, y'all ignore it. But if we fix it, think about it. Our children don't have to deal with this. Our grandchildren don't have to deal with this. And that's where the guilt that I feel. I let my kids down. I let my grandkids down. I let everybody down because I should have done more. But you know what? I got to say, it's time to get to the leadoff.
John, I applaud you, man. You have a responsibility to speak your mind, and you have a responsibility to fix what's wrong in the world, and I cannot fault you for anything that you've said at this point. But now it's time to get to sports, man. Get a little bit more happy. I know this weekend was tough for a lot of people. But I want to start here, and I really cannot believe I'm asking this, but I think it's something I was thinking about this weekend. I think it might be a legitimate idea here. But the English Premier League will be back on June 17th. So here in 16 days. But with baseball, likely, I'm not going to say likely, but it could be gone, delayed, canceled, or something like that. Is it time for this country to pick up soccer? Do you think that soccer, the English Premier League, might be able to infiltrate this society?
Got to bring up my good friend Dave Voloshin and my very good friend also Jacob Voloshin, his son. I love both of them more than anything. But Wolo is the older person who likes soccer. You know what I mean? He's the guy who was I thought he was crazy. You know what I'm saying? he used to tell me soccer's going to be big in this country. And you know what I used to tell him? And crack was great too, but it doesn't mean it was good for the country. But that's how I thought of soccer. But you know what? I'm being honest when I say this. People that are young, they love the sport. Have you you know the little bar on Cooper? What's it called? It's kind of like
Is it the one where they have the?
they have all the soccer in the morning, man.
The USL, the Bluff City Mafia. Do they go there?
I used to go there when I was young all the time. What is it called? I'm gonna go crazy.
Somebody 67129. But anyways,
67129. The bar. But what I'm trying to say is they have what is it called? The World Cup. What is it? What is that league?
World Cup, English Premier League.
English Premier. Thank you. English Premier. They have the soccer, and do you know how many people are there at like 9 in the morning, getting mimosas, getting Bloody Marys, eating. They got the TV on, and they're watching soccer, and they're going bananas. Now, this was a small crowd. Well, now this is starting to grow, and more people are actually liking this sport. And I'm going to tell you from a baseball lover, and now we have baseball. We have baseball. We have baseball at AutoZone Park, but now we also have soccer. And I'm going to tell you a little secret. A lot of people are showing up at soccer. Young people are loving soccer, and they love the fact that it's on early in the damn morning. They can gamble on it. They can do all their stuff. And I'm telling you, baseball, F up one more time. And soccer as the world game will also infiltrate the United States and pass your butt goodbye.
Ooh, that's crazy.
Do you know how bad
that's crazy?
feels?
That probably hurts the hell out of you to say. Because me and you, we've talked about we were raised in homes that
I thought Jacob Lotion was crazy. He told me soccer is more entertaining.
Me and you were born into houses that told us that soccer was a
allowed
sissy
to
game.
play
We never got
soccer.
to play it.
I wasn't allowed.
So it's very. And by the way, the bar you're thinking of is Celtic.
Celtic. That's
There you go.
Celtic Crossing.
Absolutely, Celtic
Love
Crossing.
Celtic.
Now
By the way,
moving.
shout out.
Moving on to another sort of American sport here. Joe Flacco has signed to the Jets. We know this. He says he will embrace the teacher role with Sam Darnold. Now, many of you may know last year at the same time Joe Flacco got signed by the Broncos. He said it wasn't his job to teach Drew Lock. Now he says he's willing to embrace the role as backup and teacher to Sam Darnold. Do you buy any of this? Is he being genuine?
I think he's being unequivocally genuine. Do you know why? I think Joe Flacco last year was as delusional as most people are. He actually thought he could still start in the National Football League. Then he saw a kid who was drafted late out of Missouri, and he went out and he practiced with him, and he watched this kid zing the ball all over the place. And then he also watched this kid after practice go work out and run, and Joe's in an ice bath crying, saying my knees hurt, my keister hurts, oh, my back hurts, I'm old, I'm Joe Flacco. And you know what Joe realized? I can't do anything in this world and make $4 million a year, period. But you know what? I don't have to get hit by 350, 400-pound linemen almost now these days. I don't have to get killed, and I can help Sam Darnold. And if they need me for a game or two, I can do that. I think Joe Flacco finally realized his football, his days of starting in the National Football League. I think he woke up and realized, damn it, they're over.
So you think it was a humbling experience last year?
I think last year was probably the most humbling. To see Drew Lock kick his teeth in on the practice field had to be humbling for him.
Without question. I wonder though, because he has held out hope. He says he wants to start for the Jets.
I think that's all trying to let the organization know that I haven't given up. That's it. That's all I think that is.
So you think he's going to embrace his role as a backup at this point?
Joe is hanging out with his wife. Who knows? Maybe his girlfriend. I don't know what Joe's doing. But I can tell you one thing. He knows he ain't starting, and he's enjoying it.
Absolutely. Now, there was a Power 5. The commissioners got together, and they sent a letter to Congress. The NCAA hopes to have legislative proposals by November to be voted on in January. This is the NCAA, but the Power 5 commissioners sent a letter that was signed by John Swofford of the ACC, Bob Bowlesby of the Big 12, Kevin Warren of the Big 10, Larry Scott of the Pac-12, and finally Greg Sankey of the SEC. And it, in full, encourages federal lawmakers to move ahead with the NIL law, so the name, image, and likeness law, and not wait for the NCAA to set parameters. They more than anything want to avoid sort of state-to-state legislation where parameters would be different state to state. Now, what do you think will come of this letter? Do you think the federal government will jump on board?
I just want to ask you this personally. Does the federal government not have enough on their damn hands? Are
They
you
do.
bleeping kidding me? These a-holes can't even, get in the same room. They hate each other. Heck, it was just about the coronavirus last week. Now it's about the riots. The House bill sucked. Now they're putting another bill. And you're going to tell me they want to listen to Kevin Warren of the Big Ten, or John Swofford of the ACC, or, Bob Bowlesby, Larry Scott, Greg Sankey. Now, I'd listen to him because I like the SEC. But anyway, do you really think Congress right now, and honestly, is like, damn, NCAA needs us because they take so many billions of dollars and don't do jack? Hey, do me a favor, Mr. Emmert. Mark, you loser. Well, I'm trying to think to myself, this is so sad, I shouldn't say this. But I almost think Mark Emmert belongs. He's so dumb. I could see him working for Jeffrey Epstein. That's how dumb he is. Literally, quit asking everybody else for help, damn it. Gross.
This isn't him.
Oh, I know.
This is just the commissioners.
No, this is just the commissioners, and I know what you're saying about Kevin Warren, but do you think that the commissioners would do this if they thought that Mark Emmert had a set on him? No. Do you know what they're basically saying?
And they want him to move faster.
Do you know what they're saying to Mark? You have as much power as my children's Power Rangers. None. You're a joke. Can't believe we paid you, you loser. I'm upset. And again, I'm just going to tell you this right now. If the NCAA literally wants this to get into Congress, I'm going to tell Bob Bowlesby, I'm going to tell Larry Scott, I'm going to tell Greg Sankey, I'm going to tell John Swofford and Kevin Warren, do not get mad when you cut off your damn nose to spite your face. Because, Congress, they don't just look at what you tell them to look at. Do you know what they do? They look at whatever the hell they want to. And you want to talk about players getting paid, monopolies, and all this illegal stuff that they do? And then why is it that the cost of education has gone so much up in this country to where we have a $1.5 trillion deficit? Think about that. They're going to try to figure out why the hell just 2 decades it wasn't even $200 million, and now it's $1.5 trillion. I will remind you, whatever you do, remember my guy at MemphisFarmers.com. His name is Chad Gatlin. He's even smarter than me. He's smarter than Sankey, Larry Scott, Kevin Warren, Bob Bowlesby, and all these morons. Hey, Congress, come look at us. We cheat all the damn time and don't pay nobody, but I want you to help us. Please, I don't even want to get into this stuff. The principles that come behind them is embarrassing. And if Mark did his damn job, they wouldn't be looking for Congress. They'd be looking at the NCAA, the supposed body that basically governs all these Power Fives. Unbelievable. But remember one thing. There's a guy who governs it all, and that's farmers. And you know the guy who governs it all in Memphis? Chad Gatlin. And why do you go? MemphisFarmers.com. Well, because 41 million people in this country have lost their job. And it's sad and it breaks my damn heart. I'm not lying to you. Not only does he do auto, home, life business, but look into life insurance policy, because God forbid something happens to you, and we know people are dying right now at an absolutely unrealistic rate. If something happens, make sure your family has a good footing. I know all you men out there, the last thing you want is your wife, your children, to wake up one day without you and be like, oh my goodness, everything is over. Then you would cry. But I will say, if you go to MemphisFarmers.com, you're going to be okay. And if you need to talk to somebody about this because you really don't understand exactly what's going on, just call 901-235-1176. That's 901-235-1176. Talk to Chad Gatlin. My man's going to make you feel like 1,000,000 times better, and he's going to give your family a very steady footing. Don't touch that dial. Coming up next, Tiger Talk. We got some news. Terry Davis just hit me up. He's going to drop in a little secret on your face. Don't you dare touch that dial. Sports 56, 96.1, 87.7 FM.
Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy get you through the midday with Sports 56 Middays. Delivered by FedEx. Weekdays from 10 till 1 on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
The landscape is so beautiful at Town Village Audubon Park. Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. Looking for a great place to retire, but you still have a very active lifestyle? Then visit Town Village. Only requirements that you're 55 plus. Prices per month starting at $24.50. The Gourmet Chef welcomes you to visit our restaurant and bistro. Package includes 3 complimentary meals per day, maid service, free local transportation, monthly coffee club, themed dinner parties, lots of fun. Visit us and call Daniel or Bo at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home. Town Village Audubon Park.
Upgrade to luxury. Visit the Umansky Luxury Complex at Ridgeway at 385. Umansky Maserati and Alfa Romeo, Lincoln of Memphis, and Acura of Memphis. One convenient location for incredible brands. Ridgeway and 385. Come see the Italian race-inspired performance of the Stelvio and Ghibli, precision-crafted performance of the RDX and MDX, or the amazing new Aviator, Navigator, or Nautilus. Rates as low as 0%. Payments from $279. 90 days until your first payment at the Umansky Luxury Complex at Ridgeway and 385. While qualified buyers, offers cannot be combined.
For the ones we trust to always be there. For the ones caring for others. For the ones who keep things going, no matter where they are. In extraordinary times, extraordinary people step up, like the ones standing guard and standing on the front lines, and the ones who are staying apart while still working together. With your efforts, we will get through this. We're grateful for all you do. Visit Grainger.com for resources that can help as you create your recovery plan. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area, in any condition, and yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, I Buy Houses can get you your money quickly. I Buy Houses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Welcome back to Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio.
Kick it over here!
This hour is brought to you by MemphisFarmers.com. Insurance coverage backed by a local agent and a brand trusted nationwide. We are farmers. MemphisFarmers.com.
Thick and thin, I'm your pusher man. I'm your pusher man.
Yo, 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 welcome into Sports 56 Happy Hour with your very good buddy, Johnny Radio. And you know who's always with me? My great friend, Gabe Kuhn. Follow him at G_Kuhn71 and follow me at Johnny_Radio. Now, Gabe, I don't usually talk about TikTok, but please tell me you saw the tweet that I tweeted that was a TikTok where the lady was talking to her husband very sweetly. And she said, "Dear, tell me a song that makes you think about me." And all of a sudden, like her 4-year-old kid pops in the video and is like, "Carol Baskins." He probably wants to kill you, but you're going to kill him first. And then she runs off, dude. It's like the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life, dude. Carol Baskin.
Don't tell me you're about to be a guy that gets in those TikTok holes. I
No,
can't.
I'm not.
I don't know if I can
It's the
deal
only
with
one.
that.
No, my girlfriend sent it to me via text, and I tweeted it out. I have to admit, it was funny. Now, there's one other thing on the TikTok. Have you seen the Wish Wash, the white or whatever they do?
Yeah, that was
White
actually.
bit?
If you seen the one,
Where the girls like glow bunk and then they look super hot.
Okay, I don't know about that one.
Oh.
I saw a very powerful one about the current situation going on in this country.
Oh no! See, I just
The
saw a
white
bunch
one,
of
though,
hot
but-
chicks that were like looking normal, and then they were like half naked. So it was very interesting for me. I didn't know they could do that on TikTok. But speaking of things on social media, y'all know Terry Davis at Terry D515. It is his birthday. My man knows the Tigers like the back of his hand, and I am confused. So I have to bring my good friend on. Terry, how's life treating you, my brother? You all right out there?
Oh yeah, life is good, my brother. How's life treating you?
Man, I ain't gonna lie to you, dude. It's been rough. I think for everybody in this country, sadly. But I do have to ask you about the Tigers because I am confused. You go to like 247. I read your work or Isaac Simpson's, or I go to the Tri-State Defender. I go to, Go Tigers Go. But then you look at like some of the national people. Like I was reading some dude who I really never even heard of, and he was like the college basketball so and so, and just the way he talked about Tiger basketball, and he kept bringing up somebody that I'm honestly not that familiar with, and it's Ahmad Rand, and I'm honestly wanting to know. Who is this young man? I know he's a junior college transfer. Is he 100% coming to Memphis, and is he like 100% actually going to help elevate this team this season?
It's one of those things. You never know until you know.
Mm-hmm.
But if he does go,
there's a lot of talk now. That's what's so tripping me out.
But I think the key is, I think he may be a secondary player just in case Memphis doesn't get Musa. Memphis might be out of the market for Musa because of
LSU
certain things, But if we do get Musa, then Ahmad Rand will be out of the picture. But if we don't get Musa, because Penny do need somebody to, just in case those guys are not rule eligible, for somebody to play, to make sure for some active bodies, just in case he don't get the waivers for everybody. So he's more of like a security blanket, just in case Musa doesn't come through, and also just in case all the guys are not approved by the NCAA.
Yeah. Now, let's be honestly, every also thing that I also read is they from the national guys, and this is what I wanted to talk to you also about. Like it's gonna look good whenever they actually get this NBA season underway, and you see Wiseman and Precious Achiuwa. Actually, two guys that are going to be lottery picks. You know what I'm saying? Wiseman, of course, did not get to play. Precious Achiuwa became a double-double machine. But everything I also read is, though, how much better they even though they lost two first-round guys and one didn't get to play, they talk about how Boogie and Damian and DJ Jeffries and, heck, Lance Thomas. It seems like some of the national basketball writers have looked at the fact that Alo will be a junior, that, all these guys are going to be a year in. And I couldn't believe I read this. Penny Hardaway was getting some love from the national media. Fox Sports 1 was even talking about him and how he helps out R.J. Hampton and how he helps out this and how he's a professor of basketball and how this guy can help you get to the NBA better than anybody. And I almost fell over reading it this week because it's amazing how, 2 months ago, they were calling him basically a cheater, the worst coach there was, didn't know he's a high school coach. Living on, again, which I didn't understand. He's a high school coach living on the fact he played in the NBA. Dude, where else are you going to get a PhD from basketball?
A lot of people, when you meet Penny, you like Penny. So a lot of these guys, because of the age difference and Penny's been gone so long, have never met Penny. And a lot of them have been getting reintroduced to Penny and finding out he's not as bad as person as some of these coaches have made him seem. Because of even because of The Last Dance, he's been on a lot of platforms.
That's a good
So
point.
a lot of people have gotten to know Penny. And, you know, once you get to see in front of Penny, Penny wins you because he's the type of person that walks in a room and he controls the room. And they finding out that he's not the bad guy that a lot of these people say he is. And he can coach because, you know, he was one of the few coaches that had back-to-back 20-year seasons his first 2 years coaching. And the team that's coming in is going to be a lot better than the team last year, even if none of the players who transferred in are rule eligible, because this team is deeply talented team. And he has proven that he's not just a high school coach and coming to coach college. He's actually a good coach.
No, he's in my personal opinion, I think he's a great coach. And I think it was, Adam Zagoria or one of them guys over at the Bleacher Report or somewhere. They tweeted out like their top 25. And yes, they talked about how, you know, Precious and Wiseman are gone. But they said literally that Lester and Boogie and Alo and DJ and Lance, and just the fact that they're growing another year under this coaching staff. He said, watch out basketball, especially the American Conference. I think that they're going to come on, and he said that he thinks Williams is going to actually get the waiver, and he's going to be a big part of it. And a person he didn't mention, and I'm just confused, is it only because I'm in Memphis that I noticed this? Why didn't anybody mention Malcolm Dandridge?
Because Malcolm doesn't move the needle nationally because he didn't do anything to impress anyone nationally yet. Only reason we know about Malcolm because he's a local kid and we know what he can do and his potential. But he's not the flashy type guy. He's a guy who's going to do the dirty stuff, the dirty work. You know, the guy who's going to go and dive for the loose balls and get those crazy rebounds. But he's not going to all you with his flashiness. But he's going to be Mr. Consistency all the way through.
Man, you ain't lying about that. Now, listen, life out there has gotten a little bit crazy. I have to say goodbye because this time has come and gone. I want you to be safe out there. I want you to be strong. I want you to make sure that you keep this thing going on. But I got to ask you before I say goodbye, is there anything that people who've been focused on other things, maybe did anything slip through the cracks? Did I miss anything this weekend? Has something happened over there at the university that maybe I don't even know of?
Not so, you know, I don't know what it is about that. They've done a good job of keeping everything.
They are, aren't they?
Close to the vest, you know, with everything. You know, with football coming back at the end of the week, you know, and basketball coming back potentially next week. You know, those guys have really closed all those leaks, and it's been really quiet out there, which is unusual.
Yes, it really is, man. That's why I had to ask you and just check it out. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens next year. I think it's going to be awesome. Remember, Terry Davis at TerryD515. Give him a follow. Nobody knows the Tigers like he does. We rap every week about something entertaining. Terry, be careful out there. I love you, brother. Be safe, all right?
All right, y'all be safe out there, too. Talk to you later.
Talk to you later. That's my good friend Terry Davis. Check him out. Tri-State Defender at TerryD515. And again, the Memphis Tigers. You know, it is weird for me to go and read CBS or Fox Sports 1 or Yahoo and actually see them now changing their tune. You know what I mean? It is, it's totally weird, to be honest with you. In fact, like, they put up, now, they weren't, like ESPN did a thing where the Tigers weren't in the top 25. Now, Fox Sports came out and did a nice little article that says that they think that's absolute lunacy. They talk about Alo. They talk about Boogie. They talk about Shorts, my man Lester. They talk about his shooting. They talk about Lance Thomas. They talk about if Williams is available. They talk about my man that I was actually just now talking about with Terry Davis and I already forgot his name. How sad is that?
Ahmad Rand.
Yeah, Ahmad Rand. And by the way, did you know a lot about him before this week?
Well, I knew that he had committed. I knew he was a JUCO guy. I knew that he wasn't a big scorer. He's a big defensive rebound type of guy. But other than that, not much. I haven't got to see him play. I haven't got to see much of him. I just know that he is sort of supposed to be a sub-in big guy.
Under this, here's what it says. I expect him to get 15. This is from a national writer. I expect him to get 15 minutes per game at least. My man can go out there and he will rebound, he will defend, and he will kick it out, and he will run and play defense, get the ball to DJ Jeffries, to Boogie Ellis, to my man Lester. I think this is going to be a good team, and not another person is talking about Malcolm Dandridge. They're just talking about Lance. Watch out for Penny and the Memphis Tigers. Coming up next, John Luke McCord. We're talking Mississippi football. Sports 56, 96.1, 87.7 FM. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area, in any condition, and yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, I Buy Houses can get you your money quickly. I Buy Houses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
When you have frequent heartburn, antacid relief only lasts for a few hours. Prilosec OTC stops heartburn before it begins and lasts a full 24 hours. Its unique delayed release formula blocks heartburn at the source. With just one pill a day, you get 24-hour heartburn protection. Make the switch today. Prilosec OTC. One pill a day, 24 hours, zero heartburn. It's possible while taking Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Commitment, dedication, perseverance. At FedEx, our people are our strength. Even during these unprecedented times, we are delivering medical supplies, test kits, and the things you need every day. Helping the world move forward together. Strength, what we deliver by delivering. FedEx.
At Jason's Deli, you can stuff yourself full of great deli food that's healthy, fresh, and best of all, it's not expensive. Jason's Deli is all about choice. Whether you're looking for a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the Build Your Own selections, Jason's Deli has you covered. And they only use fresh, wholesome ingredients. Choose from the club and specialty sandwiches, paninis, wraps, soups, salads, pastas, and much more. I love the cleanliness in the restaurant, the hospitality, and of course the cost. They have a huge salad bar and great soups, including Southwest chicken chili, fire roasted tortilla, organic vegetable, tomato basil, and many, many more. And if you're planning an event, their catering department is fantastic and can handle any size party. Go check out Jason's Deli's 4 locations. On Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, that's my favorite, on Germantown Parkway in Cordova, at Poplar and Highland, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome to Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. 560, 96.1 FM, and 87.7 FM. This hour of Sports 56 Happy Hour is brought to you by MemphisFarmers.com. Insurance coverage backed by a local agent and a brand trusted nationwide. We are farmers. MemphisFarmers.com.
Check it out right here. Ladies and gentlemen. And now?
Now, the only man to give death a near Johnny experience. Johnny Harden.
Yo, 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 happy Monday, and welcome back into Sports 56 Happy Hour. Y'all know who I am, Johnny Radio. Y'all know my good friend, I hope by now, Gabe Kuhn. And y'all know that coming out, like this hour, we're coming strong. Like, we got Hardenwood because it feels just so damn good. And we got some really funny things to talk about, some interesting things to talk about, some lighthearted things that are just kind of give you a little bit of peace. So at the bottom of the hour at 2:30, we're going to jump into Hardenwood. Right now, though, we got to talk Mississippi sports, man. Like, you got Lane Kiffin talking some smack. You got my man down in Mississippi State, Mike Leach, talking a little smack. You got an opportunity in the very, very, very first game for Lane to do something extremely, extremely big. And just the whole thing is, in my opinion, fascinating. I know that we're the home of the Ole Miss Network, and I know a lot of our listeners are in Memphis in the Mid-South, but we got a lot of people that went to Ole Miss, like my good friend Corey Peterson and Hunter Myers and, heck, Jennifer Cowers. All these people, they love Ole Miss. And then I just know that you got Brett Norsworthy, does, with David Kellum and all them. He's, part of Ole Miss, so it's a big, big deal. But John Luke McCord, he is Mississippi. He lives in it. He works for Mississippi. John Luke, how is life treating you? Johnny Luke.
It's great. It is great. I cannot complain. Came on here with you guys last week and sort of just loving the Egg Bowl fieriness that's developed here this offseason. And look, just shout out to Mississippi State and Ole Miss Nation, if you will, for providing some good quality
relief.
Sports entertainment.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Better word, relief.
Some relief.
Mm-hmm.
That's damn sure. And by the way, people, I keep always tell you to call him, to follow him at JL Grindin, because at JL Grindin, and it's IN, like my last name, it's at JLGRINDIN, John Luke McCord. But don't forget, he's working over at the Northeast Mississippi Daily Journal. That's at DJ. It's actually just at D Journal now.
Yeah,
right?
D Journal, yeah, Daily Journal, D Journal now. Yeah, that's a lot of our sort of our digital handle. And look, I would say this.
Just say it like this: Dig the Journal now. At Dig the Journal now. At D Journal now. I like that.
Guys, I always encourage you to follow our Mississippi State or Ole Miss coverage. Look, some of the beat coverage we've had in there, some of the longest running of any publication. We're actually swapping over. We'll have a new Mississippi State beat writer we're announcing later this week. So get ready for that.
You going to tell me about that next week?
I'll tell you about it next week.
Right.
Look, hey, if you guys are familiar, Parrish Alford has been covering the Ole Miss beat for us for a long time.
Very well.
So follow his coverage. But look, I mean, you got to be on the Twitters right now to see where all the real Egg Bowl drama is going down. And again, I was on here last week. We talked about transfers. It's rare that the Ole Miss dip on the other's roster to go grab a transfer. We know Mississippi State's down 3 starters in the last couple of weeks. And in recent time, 2 of those guys, both from Mississippi, Fabian Lovett, the D lineman, and the cornerback Jerry Jones, were looking to go to Ole Miss. And look, it was all but reported those guys were going to end up in Oxford. A sort of semi-famous person, probably maybe infamous on the Mississippi State beat, was able to get in there, stirred some of that up. He's got some investigative chops, no doubt. He's proven those in the past. And again, I think threw a wrench in that. Look, Mississippi State certainly threw a wrench. You see Fabian Lovett and Jerry and Jones both announced over the last 3 days that they're ending up at Florida State. So Mike Norvell exercising those connections, he'll actually be the beneficiary of those 2 Mississippi State transfers after some drama unfolded behind the scenes.
Man, speaking of drama folding behind the scenes, I'm going to get right back to Mississippi because we're going to talk about this during Hardenwood, but I know you heard about Tim Jordan get arrested at the Vols running back on drug and gun charges. And then we also have to say just rest in peace, man. Pat Dye died, man. Like
I saw that.
I just saw that about an hour ago, and I'm just like, damn, man.
I know.
God,
80, great run.
Yeah, 80 years. Great coach at Auburn. Just the things that I don't know. Just rest in peace, Pat Dye. Sad news coming out of the SEC on that aspect. And again, Vols running back Tim Jordan arrested on gun charges and marijuana and scales at 5 a.m. Just stupidity. I'll talk more about that.
Scales will get you.
Yeah, the scales will get you. I'll talk more about that during Hardwood. But I also had to get to something that I think that's important. Have you noticed that they have really amped up the rhetoric between Lane Kiffin and Mike Leach this week?
Yeah. And again, that's something that I will say this. I feel like if you're really trying to push that narrative, it really with just about any angle other than, sort of these guys, it's probably not going to hold water or age well, if you will, because at the end of the day, these guys are friends. I don't think this rivalry
really? I
is
didn't
going
know
to
that.
taint them. Yeah, no. And look, when Leach was hired,
Hold on. They actually like each other. Like this is
they're
more
both
fun.
West Coast guys, man. They've
Damn,
been,
I didn't know
they
that.
had been out there on the West Coast. I mean, obviously Leach from Wyoming, but look, they had spent some time out in that, sort of that land that doesn't care as much about football as the Southeast for a while, and certainly built a bond. They've referenced each other a couple times at public, times they've spoken, and it's always in jest. And so that's why that. When this rivalry started, when the rivalry started to do what it does this past week with these transfers from Mississippi State, I think a lot of people blindly wanted to come into the situation and inject that. But I think, look, there's no more than maybe Leach would have called and jabbed that Lane would have called and jabbed Leach a little bit about it, taking a couple of starters from him. But I don't think it's ever going to be much more than that. I mean, these guys had joked with each other already about sharing a flight back to Florida once the off-season starts, since that's both where they call home in the off-season. So, I mean, I think that one's going to be fun between those guys.
Yeah, I think it is going to be fun. And by the way, I don't think many of our listeners, or maybe a lot of them did. I did not know that. I didn't know that they were actually
And I'm not talking about the whole Hugh Freeze, Gus Malzahn, where Hugh thought they were friends, Gus didn't think that. No, I think these guys, I'm not saying they're hanging out at the same country club, but these guys are certainly friendly, and it appears to have a deeper relationship than even that, too.
They look at it more as like, hey, it's Ole Miss, Mississippi State in the West, and we got to knock out LSU, Alabama, and Auburn before we, or A&M before we get any. And don't forget
And I
about
think they're
Arkansas.
both learning. I think they're both right now having to get the crash course in, what does this rivalry mean? What are the parameters? What is the recent history of how volatile it's been and calm down between Moorhead and Luke and things like that? They're having to get that on the go. Those guys have not been able to spend a ton of time on campus since being hired. I mean, obviously Lane was hired in 2019, Leach hired in 2020. So, I think they're still having to get that Egg Bowl 101, what does it mean, introductory level course right now. And because both of them wanted to shuck it off early on. And I think you're right. They're both looking at the other schools. Any outsider's philosophy outside of Mississippi or this Northeast Mississippi bubble, even Memphis to an extent there, in extended North Mississippi. I mean, you know about this rivalry. I think these guys came in with an outside perspective of why are we not chasing the Alabama, Auburns, LSUs instead of each other? And I think they're having to learn that, listen, this whole deal between each other, certainly doesn't have to be the end-all, be-all. We want to get back to where we were in 2014, but you've got to keep it on your periphery or it will bite you. And I think, look, Lane Kiffin narrowly avoided that Egg Bowl bite, I think, this past week. I think if you take two of those Mississippi State transfers, regardless of what you want to call it from the Mississippi State side of things, it would have roused issues. And I think now that those kids both wind up at Florida State with a potential third transfer from Mississippi State that could still do that, then I think you look at an issue that sort of goes away. Mississippi State doesn't want to push that issue, only had those transfers ended up at Ole Miss. So, I mean, I think Lane Kiffin had someone above him, I believe, come in and have a conversation about what that might mean if they took those two transfers and elected to go against it.
I still like the fact that they also, like, when you talk about Lane Kiffin, the way he snatched my man up straight up out of Mississippi State, made him switch sides.
Two
Mr.
of them,
Jones,
yeah.
what was it, Jerry and Jones, and who's the other guy?
Fabian Lovett.
That's it. And just have them switch the side of the Egg Bowl. That's dope as all get out. But the one thing I also wanted to ask you, though, is a lot of people, I don't think they realize, even like when we talk about these little bitty things, I'm going to talk about some really big names, and I want you to think about this. Do you know who got to Alabama via Lane Kiffin? Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa. Both of them.
That's right.
So
handfuls of receivers
and
as well.
hands full of receivers. It's not even funny. By the way, think about this. Reggie Bush was going to Notre Dame until Lane Kiffin came in there and got him to USC. So can Lane Kiffin do some of the magic? It's not USC. It is not Alabama. But we've seen this guy go out there and get magical guys to leave certain places, and he finds that talent. Can he do that at Ole Miss?
Look, I think so. I think that that was one of the key pillars that probably, made that Ole Miss job attractive to him, although, he picked it over Arkansas. So I think he liked the talent that's on the roster to an extent, and I think that he knew that was a recruiting, Ole Miss recruited well in recent memory. Make the jokes you want to about
Hugh Freeze. He brought it. Dude, are you kidding me, man? I don't care what you say. When you get a Laramie Tunsil and a Robert Kim
you can go to Texas and get these top guys. And so I think that's what you saw Lane do. Lane came in, made sure that he maintained the Mississippi connections with a couple of staffers. He made sure he maintained, the Mid-South, the Tennessee, Alabama connections. He also got some guys that recruit Texas. And then sort of where he's been recently, down in South Florida, or at least in Florida, recruiting that South Florida area. He brought some coaches that are going to help him there. So I think it's clear that Lane believes he can go to South Florida, he can go to Memphis, he can go to Nashville, he can go to Tennessee or Texas, Georgia, and get players. And so I think that's the plan, to recruit big. And frankly, look, I think this is a job that over this cycle was going to be a big cycle for Lane Kiffin as far as evaluation of how he could recruit at Ole Miss. I think now next you have to shift that back a class with COVID-19. But I think it's a scenario where this marriage will sort of go by the wayside for both parties if Lane Kiffin isn't able to recruit. I mean, certainly he's going to put good offenses and overachieve on that side, but you got to sign defensive players that Hugh Freeze showed you.
Yep. Yeah. It's going to be about what can he do in that West? Is he going to be able to stop the LSUs, the Texas A&Ms, and the Alabamas, and Arkansas, and Mississippi
And why
States?
would you got to go get big-time defensive players right now. Look around at the quarterbacks. I think, look, Miles Brennan at LSU, of course, Alabama's got a great room there at that position. Bo Nix still hasn't quite proven himself. We were talking about him last week.
Who's going to be the guy right now, honestly? Yeah. Who's going to start for Lane?
Who's going to start? Oh, gosh. Listen, guys, I think that the passing guys were the names to look for all offseason. Matt Corral, Grant Tisdale. But now I think you got to look harder at John Reese Plumlee. We talked about that last week. Plumlee is a guy now with less of an offseason, might be who they try to go with there. Again, his arm and his throwing ability, if that's not somewhat better this year, then there's no way he sticks. But I think to start the season, if we don't get a significant delay back to October or something like that, then I think you got to plug him in there to start the season. So I would really look at one of the throwers.
I got to bring in my friend Gabe Kuhn, and I want to ask him this quick question. Gabe Kuhn, you played center for a long time at the University of Memphis.
And right guard, and left guard, and right tackle, and left tackle.
Everything.
Yeah, come on.
What I'm saying is the reason I bring up center is because center is usually the guy who understands all of the protections and understands the guy behind him and his strengths.
Okay.
You know the quarterback. Yes. You work with him every day. Could you work and think honestly that you can take the next level in a Lane Kiffin offense with Mr. John Ross?
Here's the thing, and I think, John Luke, you sort of alluded to this. You have to absolutely be open to the idea of starting him because he is the guy who ended the season last season. You're not going to have a normal offseason program. So you have to go with a guy who's somewhat of an incumbent, a guy who has experience. And I think when you look at John Rice, he has that. And I think, John Luke, you're right on point when you have to at least look at his direction first before you decide to go elsewhere.
So you as a wait, I want to ask him, as a offensive lineman, is that something that you would support?
Yes.
So you would, okay.
Yes, it would make sense. It would make sense
to y'all. Okay.
Absolutely.
That's what I wanted to know what the people in the offensive line would have thought. But go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
Well, and that's good insight too, because that's the veteran, mature mindset. I think a lot of these linemen that they've got coming back, especially the center situation, that they will look at it that way. But again, what I would say, guys, that look, I think Lane Kiffin maybe privately came into this gig with googly eyes about what could John Rice Plumlee be at another position. He's not necessarily the type of quarterback I'm going to recruit, not only in style but also in stature and things like that. Everybody Lane Kiffin's offering are 6'3", 6'4", 6'5" guys. They're going to move in the pocket, but not move out of the pocket going forward. So I guess it's not the best fit. I think he wanted Plumlee to play receiver, play tailback. But, again, Plumlee's a guy that he does have a high motor, a high work ethic, and so you almost want to come in with a shortened offseason and say, listen, we're going to give you that chance to prove that you've improved, show that you've improved over the offseason. We know you work hard, but don't be surprised if we do continue that conversation about moving you, because again, Matt Luke made a lot of promises in recruiting to a lot of kids, especially John Rice Plumlee, and one of those was not to move him from quarterback. Lane Kiffin has not made those promises, so we'll just see how that shakes on. I mean, at some point, I don't want to put this on John Rice Plumlee's name, but if things don't go well there, if it's not handled just right, or even if John Rice doesn't show any improvement, then that could be a situation we're talking about. Ole Miss has transfer situation coming of their own. But again, they got two quarterbacks back there that are more pro-style throwers, Grant Tisdale, Matt Corral. And I would certainly keep an eye on those guys, yeah.
I mean, Grant Tisdale, I hear you. For some reason, I always thought it was going to be Matt Corral, but again, I don't know my head from a keister.
Well, the thing about it is, and I would say Matt Corral has, in his short career at Ole Miss, small sample size, he's got a little bit of the good bow, bad bow situation. Yep. So it's the times Matt Corral has not looked that great that honestly leave the thoughts of Grant Tisdale being in this race in people's minds, I think.
Now, this is the interesting thing, and I brought up all of this because I feel like Lane Kiffin has the ability and the pizzazz and the Twitter and just the wearing the visor and the cachet to do everything he's supposed to do. And I thought that Ole Miss would look like a Lane Kiffin team before Mississippi State would turn into a Mike Leach-style offense and a style team that Mike Leach is used to until Sawyer Robertson. That kid committed. He's going to be in the class of 2021. He's the 9th pro-style quarterback in the class of 2021. From everything I've heard, that's the guy that he wanted. Like, that was the one quarterback in high school, like Sawyer Robertson. He saw him and said, that kid can run my system. I want him. He got him to commit. We might look at this year. Could Mike Leach actually, though, have Mississippi State looking more like the team that he wants faster than even Lane Kiffin?
I don't buy that. I think it comes next year, and I think Ole Miss tends to look a little bit like they are wanting to look going forward at the end of this season. Certainly, we just watered down talent from where they want to be. But for Mississippi State, I do think it's going to have to be a situation of getting that quarterback in there. Look, KJ Costello is a good quarterback. He's been banged up. He's not running air raid, and he has a long release that might make that troublesome. Now, there is a kid from Brandon, Mississippi that's coming in. He's going to be an incoming freshman at Mississippi State named Will Rogers. That's a guy that Mike Leach also recruited, really liked in the Gardner Minshew mold when he was back at Washington State. But now Sawyer Robertson is the guy.
I mean, this is a guy who
but they've got
two
4-star high school quarterbacks committed.
Wow. I didn't even
I just got one from
the way I heard Mike Leach talk about him, like I haven't seen a guy talk about a high school kid like that. Like I thought for a minute he was going to divorce his wife and like ask Sawyer to marry him. I was like, damn. Like he was like, oh, the guy's perfect.
But I do think I think one element that maybe goes overlooked, and Gabe can certainly expound on this if needed. I mean, I think you got to get that offensive line looking more like guys Leach wants. He wants athleticism there right now. They do not have the most athletic bunch of guys. Again, they lost their starting right tackle, Stuart Reese, as well, 3-year starter there. And so rebuilding and making that offensive line more athletic is going to be a key element, I think, too. And you saw that in early time, a few Freeze. Mississippi offensive linemen are not the guys you won't fill in the roster when you're trying to run an up-tempo offense or an air raid offense like that.
And that was one of the biggest things, and I will expand on that. I think that's a fantastic point, John Luke, is that you look at Mike Leach's offensive system. He throws the ball how many times a game? 55 times a game. And you have to have a guys that can get back and pass protect every single snap. And I don't know if they have a lot of maulers in the run game. They have guys that are used to just coming off the ball constantly. They're not too used to protecting a guy for 3, 4, 5 seconds. Back. So this is something interesting. And I know one thing about Mike Leach's offensive line and how it's taught by his offensive line coach. It's different. There's a learning curve to it. So I absolutely get what you're saying, and I think that's a fantastic point.
Well, and here's one thing, too, and again, I won't stay too long on this point, but I want to make this because it's the reverse of where Mississippi State has been over the last 2 years of the program. I think you're going to be not so pleasantly surprised in how poor the offensive line shows this year. Because, again, I was looking at a Zoom meeting with all the players that they had going on with the offensive line at Mississippi State recently, just kind of started looking through the names and was like, wow, that offensive line has been depleted, and they're going to have some young guys that nobody knows their name step up this year, especially on that interior. And they're going to need a lot of bodies because they're going to use a lot of bodies there on the interior this year. So, again, I think the offensive line is going to disappoint at Mississippi State this year. I think that receiver group has a chance to be a huge surprise because, look,
really?
They injected 3 of the best receivers from Mississippi JUCOs, and I'm not talking about these are guys that had to go to JUCOs. These are guys that they had to because of grades.
Because
and now
of
they're
grades,
resurfacing in the SEC. Yeah, and they are studs. And, I mean, look, just 3 names real quick. They've got Malik Heath, who's going to be the go-to. I mean, Javonte Payton and Caleb Ducking is a guy that's about 6'7", feels like he's about 6'8". And so, again, they're going to have a good receiving core this year. And I think, obviously, they've got Austin Williams and some of those slot guys to complement the income guys. But I think that's a position where they've got a chance to be a lot better this year, and they haven't been that good at that spot the last 2 or 3 seasons. So.
Now, before I say goodbye to one of my favorite people in the world, John Luke McCord, and get to Hardwood, follow him at JL Grindin, and don't forget to read, the Northeast Mississippi Daily Journal. And by the way, that's at D Journal now. Give him a check, give him a follow, and check him out. But are you talking about Marcus Woodson? I saw a tweet where you said, who's going after Marcus Woodson for tampering? Are you talking about like Memphian Marcus Woodson, who was a defensive backs coach back in the day?
I'm talking about former Ole Miss Rebel Marcus Woodson. Yeah, man. He's a guy that, look, he has absolutely murdered these in-state, Mississippi State and Ole Miss and in-state recruiting in the last couple of years. But as you might know, he left Memphis to head to Auburn.
Yes, so, I do. I knew when he left Memphis. Yeah. I also knew him when he was at Millsaps.
That's right. And he's a guy that, look, he took a lot of dudes from Pine Belt and then on down south in the last couple of classes when he was at Auburn. Some guys that will probably emerge and become household names over the next couple of seasons. But and was in place to continue doing that at Auburn. In fact, I will say this, nothing against what Mike Norvell is building at FSU, but
watch out.
If Marcus Woodson was still at Auburn, Mississippi State and Ole Miss would be really hurting in this class right now, 2021. So, but either way, he's shown that he's going to continue to open that pipeline up. Florida State has recruited Mississippi well. They've tried to get into it in the last 5 years or so, and look, Marcus has been a terror on the state of Mississippi since he has been doing it in big college football since he got to Memphis.
I know Marcus, so I appreciate you doing this because I'm going to have to keep my eye on him.
and I will say this for him, and because if he searches his name, which I'm sure he has no time to do, just a joke, because more of a joke at sort of the Mississippi State media and how they've alleged tampering.
Oh, really?
Look, you mentioned it. Lane's got 2 former Mississippi State assistant coaches.
Yep.
Just so happens the corners coach and D-line coach on his staff. So anyway, it's interesting that another Mississippi guy is able to get those kids after Ole Miss sort of had to bow out of that race.
Man, hey, JL, I could talk to you all day. John Luke McCord, people check him out, JL Grindin, at JL Grindin. Don't forget to read him at the Daily Northeast Mississippi Daily Journal. My man is the Baller Shot Caller. He joins me every week. Check him out. He is awesome. John Luke, be safe out there. Enjoy what's going down. We ain't worrying about Rona right now. We're worrying about what's happening with sports. We'll be talking about some more sports hopefully next weekend, brother.
Thank y'all, man. Y'all have a great one.
That's my buddy, John Luke McCord. And speaking of all the things that are going down, I want to remind you one quick thing. Yes, while everybody's been worried about this or worried about that, there's one thing you never have to worry about when you're in Memphis, finding the best damn barbecue, because I'm going to tell you, it's so simple. There's 4 amazing locations. I don't care what's going on. They open right behind the Lorraine Motel, Central Barbecue. They solid, they steel, they sex appeal. They don't play no games. I went over there. I got 2 pounds of my smoked turkey. I got a bunch of pulled pork. Got some barbecue nachos while I waited. Drank me a cold beer. And I got a quart of banana pudding because, again, I This weekend was rough. I got 2 quarts of banana pudding. I feel like I deserved it was a 2-quart weekend. Their banana pudding is the best, but I also want to remind you there's 4 great locations. I'm downtown. The Civil Rights Museum is right by me. I always go to that one. Don't forget the original on Central. Don't forget the Bad Boy on Summer, and don't forget this new beautiful one right here on Poplar. They're awesome. And then you can go to eatcbq.com. That's eatcbq.com. Bing, bang, boom. You can ship their barbecue anywhere in the world. Central Barbecue, they're simply the best. Coming up next, the best segment of the day, Hardwood, because damn it just feels so good on Sports 56, 96.1, 87.7 FM.
Take Sports 56 with you on your phone or tablet. Download our official Sports 56 app today.
Hi, I'm Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roofing. Do you have any idea why I never speak the way I am right now? It's because if you're honest, sincere, and knowledgeable, you do not need fast-talking, high-energy, gimmick-promising advertising to get a customer's attention. Speaking of that, how do you think companies can offer huge rebates and giveaways when you use their services or buy their products? By overcharging you in the first place, that's how. Five-Ash Roofing doesn't operate that way. It's misleading and dishonest. When I provide a customer with the best products and the best service possible and do it at a fair price, why would I need gimmicks to sell it? Best products, best warranties, and best service possible. That's all we offer. Well, that and financing. Five-Ash Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. Five-Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. When you turn to Rocket Mortgage, we can help guide you to those right decisions now, when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so now is a great time to call 8338-ROCKET. And if you need some extra money, a cash-out refinance could give you that financial boost you're looking for. Call today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight, exclusively FedEx. And we put them in nice packaging. We don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together, so the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test-driven, checked out from head to toe, unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
Welcome back to Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio.
Kick it over here!
This hour is brought to you by MemphisFarmers.com. Insurance coverage backed by a local agent and a brand trusted nationwide. We are farmers. MemphisFarmers.com.
that fancy, oh, they used to date my mom. Now, I have to say, again, welcome into Sports 56 Happy Hour. I am very, very glad to be here. You know me, Johnny Radio. You know Gabe Kuhn. We're about to do my favorite segment of the day, and we have given y'all, I hope, a small reprieve. But I will say, I just almost want to go back and talk more because, like, the texts that I get, I'm just going to tell y'all straight up, thank y'all so much for tuning in. You know how much I love y'all. And it is hard to do my job, not really, to be honest with you, but it is hard, I guess, to read some of the hateful things that people actually send. And usually they just go in one ear and out the other. But for some reason, is it just me, or is it this week it just feels like it's cutting a little too deep, don't you? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I've been called an idiot, a moron, F you. I've been said everything. But the way some of y'all are talking on the line, and heck, even in my personal phone, had to block people. I've lost friends over this. The way y'all talk about just like human life. And for anybody who can sit there and say that they actually watched that, and as this texter says, I've watched that video. And by the way, if you've watched that video 10 times, number one, you're sick. I watched it one. I cried my eyes out. I tried watching it while talking to y'all on air, and did I not like literally start breaking up on air, Gabe? What was it, like Wednesday or Thursday? I couldn't. I couldn't. I watched Booker today talk about it and breaking up. And again, as a human being, I'm going to get to Hardwood. I just don't understand how you could sit there and send me a text and say, I'm with the officers. They did nothing wrong. Look at the looters and the crazy people in the streets. Like, does that not break your heart? Like, that people can actually see things from such a small-minded, like, again.
It doesn't surprise me, but it does break my heart. It does.
It breaks my heart.
I have people texting me all day about it.
It horrifies me.
There's some people you can't change their mind. You can't talk them into what is actually going on, and it's sad, but it's just the truth of the matter, and
yeah,
hopefully those people come around.
Mind. Hopefully they will one day. But again, I just want to ask you, you ever see a human being, and I guess it's sad to me to say that, I guess because it was a black man, some of you people can't understand. Maybe if it was your child or your daughter or your wife or your husband laying underneath a police officer's knee and just brutally murdered, maybe you would not be texting me, I didn't see anything wrong with what the officer did. But again, when you send me that stuff, it is just hard for me to come back and do Hardwood. But I will tell you, I'm going to get back to talking sports, but I will also tell you, if you're struggling, I'm not talking about George Floyd struggling, but I'm talking about if you're not doing well. I mean, coronavirus, 41 million Americans have lost their jobs. But we aren't doing as good as we have been in the past. And I will tell you, I know a person who can help you. If you call 901-406-1101, I can promise you this. Bill and I buy houses. He's going to buy your house in 5 days, guaranteed to close in 5 days. I'm serious as a heart attack. It's any house, any area, as is, as simple as that. He's buying them. He's fixing them. He's renting them. He's selling them. He's doing God knows what with them, but he's buying them like hotcakes, yo. Hotcakes. 901-406. That sounded like Dave Chappelle, didn't it? Hotcakes. I don't know why, but I liked it. 901-406-1101. You call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. A bing, a bang, a boom. I promise you this. I literally just sold your house. You're going to love me. Now it's time to get to my favorite place in the world, Hardwood.
This is Access Hardwood.
By the way, Gabe, found out that's Honey's favorite place, too. She loves Hardwood, she said. It's the only segment she ever listens to. Well, that's what I'm learning.
Is she listening right now?
Well, no, not right now. I give her a different Hardwood, but we'll talk about that
later.
later.
My God.
I mean, I give her, she's my wife.
All right, first story. First time for the stories.
I
Come
tell
on.
her the funny, like the TikTok stories, like stuff that I can't say on air, you know? I might even use the F word here and there.
All right, man. Time for the stories.
Now it is time for the stories, and I got to tell you right now, with all this stuff going on in the country, congratulations, NBA. Congratulations, hell, everybody except for pro baseball. Did you see what the pro baseball players sent back to The a-hole owners?
Nothing good.
Wow.
I don't think the owners are going to like that one.
No, I don't think so either. That was basically a middle finger, I thought. And then the other thing did you even notice what came out also today? Rob Manfred has come out and said, so do y'all realize that we had this thing called robo-umpires last year in the minor league baseballs? We had it at it was at the smaller level, not the AAA level, but it was at I don't know, one of those leagues they have. They have so many damn minor league systems. I can't even remember. I think it was in the Pacific or something. But they did it for the whole season. Now, guess what they're doing, Gabe Kuhn? They're putting it for all minor league baseball. When minor league baseball returns, instead of umpires, they're going to have 3D pitch technology. It's called a robo-ump that's going to call the balls and strikes right there. You're going to have a dude behind the plate, but he doesn't call the ball or strike. He looks at a thing that says ball or strike. You see what I'm saying? It's kind of pimp, to be honest with you. Now, they're saying this, and I'm going to ask you, do you care? Do you think that technology is going to be cause for less problems between batters and pitchers and catchers? Do you think this is going to actually work?
Do you think pitchers might be mad at that?
Well,
because I can see pitchers where they're trying to frame something, make it look like a strike, and it's not. Because that happens all the time. You try to throw one out off the plate to see if you can steal one.
That's the interesting point, though. This is where I was going to tell you, though. They did the dude. Great, man. I can't believe you brought that up. What a great one. So they did research with pitchers. Hitters actually had more of a problem because you know why? If the ball caught any part of the plate within the 3D strike zone, just like it's supposed to be, it's called a strike. So a curveball that breaks in and is caught way out here, if it goes over the plate, the 3D system was catching it, and the pitchers actually appreciated it more than the batters hated it.
See, that would be my one.
The
batters hated it?
The batters didn't like it because it was, dude, they thought it was giving the pitchers too much. But again, like you said, imagine you're like Randy Johnson, a big old left-hander, and you're a left-handed batter, and he throws a ball that's like right behind you, and you dive out of the way, and it breaks over, and it barely catches the back corner of the strike zone. Strike!
It's unhittable, too.
It's unhittable. Yeah. But you know what? It's a damn strike. It's like playing wiffle ball. You ever seen those crazy dudes? You ever played wiffle ball?
Yeah, and one of the people that know how to make it bend and...
Man, there's a dude that can pitch in our league. I'm telling you, he can throw the ball like 4 feet behind you. I've never hit him. Can't hit him. It's impossible. Dude's sick.
Do you do the one with the strike zone behind you?
Oh, no, we have
where they have to hit it, the steel deal?
The little box. Yeah. Everybody, we ever played Minglewood. But anyway, shout out to all those people.
All right, so is Antonio Brown going to make it back to the NFL? I have to ask you that. He was with Deion Sanders this weekend working out. He's been with, we know he's been with Haskins. We know he's been with Lamar Jackson, and supposedly Russell Wilson's asking for him. What's going to happen, man?
Honestly.
I'm starting, because I said absolutely not.
Yep.
But 2-3 weeks ago? But at this point, I'm starting to think, okay, maybe if he tries to repair his image, maybe.
Okay, if Deion Sanders, Russell Wilson, if all these people start coming and getting this man's back, and if he doesn't screw up, how can he not get a second chance? Do you see what I'm saying?
He's ultra talented.
Now,
he ain't getting money. He ain't getting a lot of money, by the way.
He's not going to get tons off the bat. He's going to have to go. It's going to be I could see it very incentive-laden, and I can see him making the incentives. But I think if he's going to get back, he's going to have to take what he can get, league minimum, huge incentives. But with Deion Sanders in your back, with Russell Wilson, one of the good guys of the National Football League, having your back, as bad as Antonio Brown has been, he has not been in the news almost in like 6 months, feels like. In fact, what is it? It's June 1st, isn't it? Happy June, everybody. May's over. Hopefully the year's going to get better now.
You just realized that?
Yeah, I just realized that. It is June 1st, isn't it? Yeah, it is June 1st. Hey, man, maybe things are going to get better. But maybe, hey, I don't think I've seen AB talk smack in 2020. Now, it's been a horrible year. But, I mean, I haven't heard much of him since last year. If he can keep his mouth shut, if Roger Goodell suspends him, and he pays his little, debt to society, Could you not see him showing up around, November, picking up with a team like Seattle or somebody and making them a hell of a lot better?
I'm telling you right now, the way Antonio Brown has been going around getting people on his side. You have Russell Wilson on your side. Everybody thinks Russell Wilson as this high character guy who can judge talent and judge someone's personality and see if they'd be a good fit. And he is going to his front office and telling people about him. So look, I'm not saying he's going to come back immediately and he's going to get signed this offseason, but I could absolutely see Antonio Brown being a part of next season.
Unequivocally, I could too. And now I want to ask all my Vol fans out there, what the hell is my man Tim Jordan doing? Bro, do you not know there's a thing called the Ronavirus? And there's like riots all over the place? Just so you know, at 5 a.m., you don't need to be driving around in Lakeland. What is that? Is that Florida? Lakeland, Florida, with 20 grams of weed, scales. By the way, they said he had paraphernalia, but not related to marijuana. It sounds like glass tutors to me. That's what I would think of. Like snorting a little yay, maybe? I don't know, but all I know is when you're getting pulled over at 5 a.m. and you got a 17-year-old dude, and you played running back for the Vols, and you got weed, and this is the worst part. I know that, we go to Top Flight. We go to the gun, place. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I've been around guns for a long time. I don't stick a loaded gun in my back of my pants or in my, you know what I mean? That's how you shoot your Johnson off or shoot yourself in the bum. Like, who wants to get shot? Who wants to go Plaxico Burress? Like, you don't want to shoot yourself in the leg. Luckily, my man Tim Jordan did not, because when he got pulled over, he's like, yo, in my back pocket, I have a fully loaded gun. In his back pocket while driving. Like that thing couldn't have gone off. But anyway, he had 9.25 grams of marijuana. If he didn't have scales, if he didn't have a gun, and if he didn't have a ton of baggies and a couple tutors, I bet they don't even arrest him. What do you think?
Yeah, but those things do constitute an arrest. That's just how that works.
Now, here's the other problem. When you have a unregistered firearm in the state of Florida, this is the bad problem. If they don't work out a deal, homie is looking at 3 years in prison. Do you think a deal gets worked out?
I don't know, man. It depends how many strikes he's had before.
Luckily, this
0
is his
strikes.
First strike.
So this might be, they might let him go. But when you talk about an unregistered firearm, that can be very serious. That's very serious.
There is one thing that he does have going for him, and I will admit this. The minute that cop pulled up and walked up on his house, do you know what he did? He had his hands at 10 and 2, had his license ready. And before they even said a damn thing, he said, I have a unregistered firearm in my back pocket. And I just want y'all to know. And then they, you know what I mean? So he didn't hide anything. And I know that you're going to sit there and say, well, damn, he had a gun. He had weed. Bro, you come out and you tell the police right off the bat, that might be one reason, number one, he's alive. And number two, it also might be the reason that he actually does get like a little bit of leniency, and he's back running for the Vols, not because he's an athlete, but because he actually told the truth. Believe it or not, truth will set you free. Don't touch that dial. I'll be back in 2 shakes, and this is Sports 56, 96.1, 87.7 FM.
Check out Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy with Sports Time on Sports 56. Weekdays from 3 to 6 on Sports 56, 96.1 FM and 87.7 FM.
I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area, in any condition, and yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, I Buy Houses can get you your money quickly. I Buy Houses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
Oh, my stomach. When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea, Try new Pepto-Bismol Chews. The same fast relief of Pepto-Bismol, now in a delightful chew.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
I've always wanted to learn another language, but every time I try, it never sticks. So I decided to give Babbel a try, and I really like the teaching method of the app. I started with the beginner lesson on Babbel, and it starts with simple words and phrases, and soon you're putting those words into a conversation. Each lesson takes about 10 to 15 minutes, and they're all really different, which keeps things interesting. The app is really smart. It actually keeps track of the words I'm struggling with so I can practice them and get better. I chose Babbel because it was created by real language teachers. They built it around real life, how people actually communicate, and what they care about. I can't wait to use my new language skills in the real world. Dos cervezas, por favor.
With Babbel, get conversational in Spanish, French, German, and more. It just takes 10 to 15 minutes a day. Now try Babbel free. Just go to Babbel.com or download the Babbel app and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com, Babbel.com.
We are Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM, 96.1 FM, and 87.7 FM. As well as online around the world at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere on your phone or tablet by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, tell Google or Alexa to play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Welcome back to Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio.
Kick it over here.
This hour is brought to you by MemphisFarmers.com. Insurance coverage backed by a local agent and a brand trusted nationwide. We are farmers. MemphisFarmers.com.
Thick and thin, I'm your pusher man. I'm your pusher man.
I am your pusher man, and I know that I love all of y'all. And again, it's sports time with your good buddy Johnny Radio. We're on Sports 56. I got my man Gabe Kuhn. We're also on 96.1, 87.7 because we got 2 FM channels. And then don't forget Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Instagram. And then you'll be able to see the lovely studios. And you'll see the Family Leisure Studios. And by the way, Family Leisure, that's at 2120 Winton Road, just north of I-40. And as beautiful as our studios look, they'll make your house look even better. And if you want a pool this year, they got a complete pool package starting at $15.99. They are the real deal Holyfield. Now, speaking of the real deal Holyfield, Floyd Mayweather, a guy I can't stand, literally cannot stand him. Think of him as a piece of trash. Any man that hits a woman, I can tell you, is a piece of S in my opinion. But even pieces of S can do something nice, as we are learning from the Lance Armstrong, whatchamacallit if you're watching that, because holy hell, he is about the devil. I mean, Lance Armstrong is a bad dude.
But damn, he did a lot for cancer.
But he did, that's what I'm saying. He did a lot for cancer research and all these kids. But then when you go back and you listen to him talk, you're like, you see like the nice things that he does. He's one of the better actors in this world is what we should say. He might have only had one and rode a bike. I always thought it was like the aerodynamics and him having one on that banana like seat. And that's why I thought he was a better bicycle rider than most. I thought like having one gave him an advantage because I was like, oh, dude, everybody else that has two, that's definitely not an advantage. You could hurt yourself. But guess what? It wasn't that. He was cheating. And then we found out that Lance Armstrong wasn't just cheating. He was cheating everybody. The person that he put on in front of the media was a complete different person than he was off of camera. If you haven't seen any of this, I don't even think you want to waste your time. I've watched 2 episodes, never watching any more of it again. What do you think, Gabe? Have you watched any of it?
I watched the whole thing. I watched the whole thing. And here's the thing I said this earlier to Drew.
Is he a narcissist?
An episode and a half, I was like, oh my God, Lance Armstrong's not horrible. Like, he's not as bad as I thought. And then 30 minutes, the last 30 minutes of the whole thing, I go, he doesn't care that he lied to everybody. He doesn't care that he told over 1,000 lies to cover his tracks. He doesn't care that he dragged his friends through the mud. He really doesn't he ended out on top anyway. He paid $5 million and then worked it out with everyone else.
Yeah, he's got money. And
he's still got his foundation. He's still got everything. He's still making money. He's got a podcast. So, like,
Got more money than both of us.
It's wild to see, like, through an episode and a half, I was a fan of him, and then the back half of episode 2, I go, oh, he hadn't learned a thing.
Actually, I came out to, in my opinion, it comes across as, damn, that's a narcissist right there, isn't it? Like,
100%, yes,
dude. Now, something positive that I do want to end on, and I want to end on a couple things positive. I have to admit that I am very, very surprised because I don't know much about, and I'm going to be honest with you, soccer. But there's a dude named Jordan Sancho, and just so you know how far this George Floyd thing has gotten, the soccer dude, after he scored, pulled off his shirt and it said "Justice for George Floyd." That's, again, and I will say this, not having sports in this country, I think, is another reason it's so hard to heal. But I also think it is definitely a time for change. So congratulations. I never thought I'd be talking soccer like that. But, yeah, it was pretty awesome to see all that. And then I am going to have to say goodbye. I'm going to have to tell you all these wonderful things. But before I do, I want to remind you, Brian Elder Roofing Solutions. Go to brianelderroofing.com. Everybody knows Chris Price. Everybody knows Brian Elder. They have hooked up. Call 901-867-0303. That's 901-867-0303. Listen. Roofing is an essential thing, and if you have an emergency situation, you call 901-867-0303. They got you covered. Coming up next, Wolo and Stats. I'm out. Peace!